Hello from a beach walk in Goa with sunglasses and a hat on. Seems like I'm wanting to go incognito today. Very bright 2 p.m. kind of sun. So if I take the sunglasses off, I'm squinting the whole time. I'm squinting the whole time, and I don't think that's I don't think that's what I want to do. So today what I want to talk about is the idea of sitting with whatever you're experiencing in life. Sitting with it, being with it 100%, regardless of what it is. So I think to set the ground, I guess, for this concept, we have all experienced traumas, wherever they have come from. We all have unpleasant sensations stored in our body, unpleasant emotions stored in our body. And occasionally these bubble up to the surface of our consciousness. Occasionally we feel the butterflies in the stomach. And when that happens, we don't like it. For me, one of the ones that I feel quite regularly is this feeling like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I remember being in a car with my mum when I was like 14. My mum turned to me and she said, "It looks like you've got the weight. It looks like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders just now." And it's interesting that memory comes back to my mind, because at the moment, one of the biggest things that hits me is this feeling of the absolute weight of the world on my shoulders. It's like an impending doom level of heaviness, and it kind of hit me this morning when I woke up. But the one thing that I've been doing for a long time now is just sitting in a fucking chair in the house and staring out the window or staring at the wall, and not doing any meditation technique, not doing a practice, not trying to do this breathing technique, not doing anything, just sitting and trying to become aware of what's happening to you, trying to become aware of where your awareness is going, feeling the sensations that are in your body. If there's a heaviness, what does the heaviness feel like? Is it, a pit in my stomach? Is it sensations or tingling in my thighs? Like, is there a, tension that's happening in my forehead? What are the physical sensations that are coming with this feeling? And by doing that, I've discovered something quite profound. It's that essentially the root cause of every problem that we have in our life, I'll get chewing gum in my mouth, I'm trying not to chew. The root cause of every problem that we have in our life is that we are incapable of sitting with uncomfortable emotions or uncomfortable sensations when they come in our body. And instead of sitting with them, we give them a label: depression, anxiety, whatever. And then we start trying to avoid them in a million different ways. From bad, booze, drugs, alcohol, TV, Netflix, empty sex, whatever, to good, exercise, meditation, breath work, going to a retreat, whatever it is. They're all attempts to escape from what is by changing your state. And I've noticed that, or I've discovered, I didn't discover it myself, but I heard someone talking about it, and I've been doing it, and it's been working, which is that when you feel this sensation that's uncomfortable, which is all it is, which sometimes you would label as depression or heaviness, whatever you want to call it, if instead of allowing that to come and reacting to it and trying to run away from it or avoid it, if you literally just get a chair, sit in the chair, and just allow that sensation to have whatever time it needs, sitting with it for 20 minutes or 2 hours, instead of reacting, you'll notice a profound change that happens. Instead of it turning into this depression, because depression isn't in the thing itself, depression isn't the sensation, depression is the reaction to the sensation. Depression happens to me when I feel this uncomfortable sensation and I then go on YouTube for 3 hours. That's when depression comes. The sensation itself isn't actually depressing, it's just a sensation. It just feels a certain way that I then interpret as uncomfortable. But the reality is, it's just a feeling in my body, and is there realistically, unless I'm being stabbed, or unless I'm in actual physical pain or danger, there's no feeling in my body that I shouldn't be able to deal with, that I shouldn't be able to sit with and, sink into. It's not that bad. And so if you can get away from the stories, you can get away from where the mind goes and the thoughts and I'm feeling this, that means X, Y, Z in my mind, which is all bullshit, which is all just you going into the imaginal realm, complete illusion. if you can literally just sink into the sensations in a chair, as soon as it pops up, whenever you get triggered, and maybe you're at work and something happens, then you have to, later on bring it back to mind and then sink into it. But as soon as something triggers you, sit in a chair, feel into it, and just let it be. This idea of let it go, I heard someone say something cool the other day, like everyone's looking to let go of things. But that's never worked for me, like, let me let go of this depression. Like, that's never really worked for me actively. But what I heard the other day is, like, instead of thinking of let it go, just let it be. So sit with what is. And if that is heavy today, if that's heaviness, if that's anxiety, or if that's heaviness, if that's an overactive nervous system, which some people would call anxiety, or if that's joy, or if that's the fact that your mind's all over the place, if you can just sit with what is happening right now, that process in and of itself, because of the awareness you gain through sitting it, because of the awareness that you gain by sitting with it, is the thing that changes it, is the transformational thing. And this isn't I'm going to sit with it because by sitting with it I'm going to clear it. It's a sitting with it. You have to, what I'm realising at the moment is you have to remove any element of I'm doing X to get Y outcome, then creating time, then creating this separation between what you are now and what you're trying to become. That is the enemy, and that's what I'm discovering. So just sitting with it and being completely comfortable to sit with that emotion for as long as it fucking, if it's a lifetime, you're comfortable sitting with that fucking emotion. You're comfortable sitting with that pit in your stomach for the next year, if that's what it takes, if that's what it means. And so by, I don't know if the word's disassociating or overcoming your need to react when you have an uncomfortable sensation in your physical body, accepting, sinking into whatever the fuck your experience is right now, there is an incredible transformation that takes place. And that transformation is that those emotions start becoming lighter and lighter and lighter and less frequent. And then sometimes heavier, because now your capacity to handle these emotions which are uncomfortable has become greater. So the things that are really fucking deep within you, really deep down there that you don't even know exist, maybe transgenerational trauma, maybe stuff that happened to you when you were in the womb, maybe stuff that you were 2 years old that doesn't even have a story attached to it, it's just this fucking feeling. That stuff starts coming up to the surface, and it's a good sign that these things are happening. It's a good thing that these things are bubbling up to your awareness, because it means that you've got an opportunity, to deal with it now. And what happens when you sit with it and you become aware with it, and what happens when you sit with it and you become aware of it for long enough, for as long as it takes, is that these emotions leave. And so instead of going into a social situation and being like, okay, what are my 5 techniques to deal with my social anxiety? Right, okay, well, I like to take deep breaths and all this fucking surface level dealing with the symptoms bullshit. You go into that same social situation that before produced a response in your nervous system that you interpreted as social anxiety, and it's not fucking there anymore. It's literally not there. That feeling that used to terrify you is gone. And when that happens, there is freedom. There's freedom from the limitations that used to bind you. And not because you went and, let me deal with my limitations. What are my 10 blockages in my mind and all this bullshit. Purely because you allowed what's happening to be for as long as it is. You didn't try to change who you are. You didn't try to become someone else. You just sank into what is. And that process, over time. And that's the process of attaining freedom internally. So that's something I was thinking about today and something I've learned recently. Something I do. I sit in a chair looking at the wall for 20 to fucking minutes to 3 hours a day, and do that for long enough, and then other things stop becoming very interesting to you, because refining your awareness is a million times more interesting than watching a fucking Netflix show. Although I'm happy to watch a Netflix show, if something good comes out, like I'm not dogmatic about that, but that process of refining your own awareness and understanding yourself at deeper and deeper levels becomes addictive in and of itself, because you start feeling fucking good. You start feeling joy. You start feeling freedom. You start unleashing this level of energy that you never knew you had, that's only come out in spurts in your life before. And it's so powerful. And so that's the kind of stuff I want to share on this channel, because I've gone from 10 out of 10 anxiety as a baseline to 0 anxiety, and it's this process that I've gone through that helped me get there. So if anyone's listening, hope you're well. Peace and love and light and all that shite. And cheers. Thank you.